morning. You're watching the F&O Show on Bloomberg Quint Live, India's first digital live streaming business news service. I'm Navneet Saluja D'Souza.
Good morning, Navneet. I'm Agam Akil. The top headlines this hour. Indian markets opened marginally higher, with the Nifty hovering around 10,800. Broader markets outperform. India VIX declines. And open interest surges in technology players like NIT Technologies as well as Tata Elxsi, even as traders take fresh positions in their respective futures. And one-on-one meet over Donald Trump and Kim Jong-un's advisors join in for the bilateral talks in Singapore. And Fortis Healthcare touches its lowest levels in nearly a month after the board defers approving the financial results till later this month.
Okay, those are the top headlines at this hour. Let's tell you what's happening in the futures and options market. And contrary to what SGX Nifty in the morning was suggesting a flattish start, we've seen some bit of positive ticks coming about. In fact, as we speak, the Nifty underlying is trading above the mark of 10,800. Remember, yesterday we retreated from those highs of 10,850. Bank Nifty also doing well in today's trading session. It's trading above the mark of 26,500. The broader markets are also doing well. We've seen some good recovery in the last 5 to 6 sessions coming in for the broader market. So mid-cap, small-cap, both gaining in today's trade. Let's just pull up the futures first and see what the premium or the discount picture is looking like. So Nifty futures, the discount yesterday was 1 point. That's widened to almost 14 to 15 sign. Not a great sign. For Bank Nifty futures, which ended with a premium of almost 23 to 24 points there as well, premium has fallen to almost 17 to 16 points. So these are the frontline index futures, so watch out for them. Besides that, if you look at the option strikes which are active in today's trading session, remember yesterday it was all about put riding around the levels of 10,700 and the 10,800. Today we've seen some action coming back on the call side. So you've got the 10,800 strike, which so far has added over 2 lakh shares. You've also got the 10,900 and the 11,000 call strike. Remember, that's the strike which is sitting with maximum open interest on the call side so far for the June series, whereas on the put side, the 10,800 strike so far has seen maximum addition of about 2.2 lakh shares. So if you go by the premium on these at the money strikes, that's the 10,800 put and the 10,800 call, it is giving you a range of about 200 points on either side. So expect a range of about 10,700 to about 10,900 for the index, at least in the near term. Institutional activity yesterday, the markets were up, the momentum was good. It's just that it gave up its gains. But if you look at what the FIs did, they definitely created some long positions on index futures. As you can see, over 9,000 contracts were added there. But remember, for the series, they still remain net short on index futures front. If you look at the index options pictures, they added contracts on the call long as well as the put short side, which means they created bullish positions on the index option side, Agam.
Okay, as well, it's going to be another day of trade when we have focus on the mid-cap IT space. We have Tata Elxsi, it's up 3%, a surge of 29% in open interest towards longs. NIT Technologies out there in that list again. It's the same for something like a Just Dial as well as a Mindtree. All of them advancing and all of them seeing fresh longs with substantial increase in open interest. Indian Bank is the other one, which is surprisingly standing out of the rest of the PSU pack. As a matter of fact, seeing another increase of 8% in open interest, even as it declines by as much as about 0.5% right now. But other than that, it's clearly about the tech stocks that continue to advance. In terms of unwinding, you won't see too much except for Berhampur Chini, which is seeing a decline around 2%, but not too much to speak for otherwise. I think I'm going to again watch out for Tata Elxsi this time around more than NIT Technologies, which continues to be in focus. Navneet.
All right, those are the stock futures which are in focus, and we'll definitely get some views going from our experts. But before we get them on the show, here's a reminder for you all. If you have any queries in the futures and options market, you can call us now on 022-4540-4141. Write to us on Twitter or Facebook with AskPQ hashtag. Okay, on that note, let's welcome our F&O experts. Then Nirav Shheda of Nirmal Bank and Amit Shah of BOB Capital Market are here with us. Good morning to both of you gentlemen, and appreciate you joining us today on Bloomberg Quinn. Amit, let me come to you first. Yesterday was looking like a very good day when Nifty touched the mark of 10,850. Right. We've retreated from those levels, but comfortably trading above the mark of 10,800. What should be the near-term range now that one should look out for the index? Because both at the money strike, 10,800 call inputs, they seem to be active today.
Right. So overall, I'll keep my biasness positive till the time 10,550 is not taken off on a broader range. But as you likely said, that there has been quite a strong activity on call and put option, both the sides, for over the last couple of days. So definitely that indicates that for the time being, market is shuffling between the range. On the upside, I see 930 as a key resistance. That is where was the previous top which was made, recent high it was made. And on the downside, 600 or 550 is the good supportive range. For the momentum to remain alive, 700 is where the key support is seen, where I believe if it manages to hold above 800 for a long time, put writers will start moving on the higher side. Okay. So that's where I feel the momentum support will be placed. So for the couple of range, till the time 850 on the higher side, which was yesterday's high. So yesterday's also we saw a shooting star being formed on the technical parameter. So that's a reversal pattern. So even at 930 high, the day, it was a shooting star formation which it had made. So that suggests that it requires a follow-up selling pressure. Okay. But today the follow-up selling is not coming. So that indicates that 850 now, if it is taken off, then market will witness some fresh buying participation from there on. So 850 will be the key level. If it doesn't take off in next 2 days, then I believe on the downside 700 can be tested. And again, market will remain in this broader range.
Okay.
Okay. Now, Nirav, good morning to you as well. What is your approach towards the equity markets now?
Yeah. Good morning. See, I also believe market should remain in a consolidation. It is, very, very interesting to note that how Nifty actually has managed to stay up. If you see Nifty, actually, it has been, the stocks in Nifty have been falling. Your portfolios, if you've taken certain things from January onwards, your portfolio is down. However, Nifty has managed to stay up around the 10,800 odd levels. There are stocks from different spaces coming, up. If you see, from the pharma space, only Sun Pharma, went up about 50, 70 points. Also, the IT space has been, going up. But if you look at the banking space now, the most of the stocks have now, gone into consolidation. I believe those were the stocks which were, likely to take Nifty upwards above the 11,000 levels. And I don't see them, taking the lead in the near future. So my take is again, see, Nifty is going up and the bias would remain of consolidation. However, in Nifty, there will be no trade. If at all Nifty comes up towards the 11,000 odd levels, I'll be, happy to be selling 11,100 or 11,200 calls on the upside. If at all there is a trade on Bank Nifty. If you see, Bank Nifty has touched its important resistance of 26,500 and the second one also of 26,800. I believe it can now come down further. If you see the larger private banks like HDFC Bank, Kotak Bank, IndusInd Bank, those are the banks which have now started to make distribution patterns, and I believe those patterns are actually very disturbing for a bull market, and that is why Bank Nifty should very likely come down at least up till 25,800 or 25,500 in the near future. So the view will be bearish on the Bank Nifty, leaving Nifty alone.
That's a broader outlook coming in on Nifty as well as Bank Nifty, but how to play these markets through options? Let's shift our focus to options corner. Then Nirav Shheda has a bear put strategy on Bank Nifty, and as he mentioned, he is bearish on Bank Nifty. But before we give you the details of that strategy, let's tell you what that exactly means. A bear put spread is employed when one expects a moderate down move in a security. In this strategy, a put option of a certain strike is purchased and a put option of a lower strike is simultaneously sold. Nirav, I'll come back to you. Take us through your Bank Nifty option strategy for the day.
Yeah. See, I'm giving a bear put spread on Bank Nifty for the current series, this expiry, the 14 June expiry. One can buy the 26,500 put option and sell the 26,200 put option again. If you see, overall you're paying about 100 points. That is the maximum loss that you're going to make. I don't see Bank Nifty going up towards the 26,700, 26,800 odd levels. If at all it does, you are going to stand to make a maximum loss of only about 100 points. I believe Bank Nifty should come down towards 26,200 or 26,000 odd levels on this Thursday, on this weekly expiry. So one can go, do this strategy. I believe the stocks which are going to take Bank Nifty downwards are going to be the private sector banks and large private sector banks to that.
Okay, just hold that thought. We're going to go across to the network on the latest on the Trump-Kim meet. We have some important developments coming in. Here you go.
For both sides to continue meeting. But we've talked about the optimism, some smiles even there between the exchange as these two groups break apart now, how both sides have been quite optimistic and positive about these talks. President Trump has said, look, I hope that we have a terrific relationship. Kim Jong-un also saying, we have overcome everything to get to this point, even overcoming the speculation that in fact this summit was going to happen. So there is at least on the surface, that goodwill. Let's bring back Stephen Engel, who is close by to the Capella Hotel right now, and we are expecting some type of announcement coming through potentially here, Steve.
Yeah, I think this is a pretty good sign if you're in the camp of hoping for peace, which I think a lot of us are, and that is after the talks, after the working lunch was complete, they came out together, walked through the garden towards the cameras. If there was some ill will or bad blood between these two gentlemen generated over the last few hours of talks, I don't think they would necessarily do that. And they were seen as well shaking hands, chatting quite a bit, and smiling as they, I'm assuming, saying goodbye to each other for now, because Kim Jong-un has said he is heading back to Pyongyang this afternoon. So it looks fairly encouraging, because Donald Trump said a few comments to the press gathered there before moving on fairly quickly, alluding to the fact that the talks had been better than expected and that they were going for a signing right now. Perhaps they're both going, they're not saying goodbye for good, they're going to each other's camps, and then they will meet again, I'm assuming, for some sort of signing of a communique. We don't know what that would include, though.
Right. Trump also saying things are going better than expected. They are going to a signing. No details yet of what that might be just yet. But Steve, are you surprised by just how quickly things have progressed? I mean, we've talked about just how long it took to get to this point, and really these two have met for 3 or 4 hours. I mean, less than 4 hours.
Well, I think they had a lot at stake to make this somewhat of a success. It would not have made any sense, really, to come out, with full guns blazing, if you will, and being really hard on the demands on either side to make this all fall apart. Donald Trump is just coming back from the G7, battered and bruised a bit on the public relations front, as well as having that signing of a communique kind of fall apart. Does he want a similar result here? I doubt it very much, even though there are people who you just saw in the last bit of live video there, John Bolton, who is a bit more of a hawk towards North Korea. However, with Kim Jong-un, he is winning points for his agenda every time we are seeing him smiling with Donald Trump. This is what he has wanted, a legitimacy as an equal with what arguably is the most powerful person on the planet, at least for now, Donald Trump, the President of the United States. So it's very interesting optics and dynamics, even though this summit has been abbreviated. It's just going to be a one-day affair with the assumption that there will be further meetings. It does not look like there is much ill will between the two gentlemen, at least before the cameras.
Okay, that's Bloomberg's David Engel telling us about the conclusion of the Trump-Kim meet, and he suggests that the body language has been fairly positive, and that is good news for the world, considering that can mean peace, at least in the near term. That can be taken as a very, very large positive. But we're going to shift back focus on the markets right now, and we're going to talk about the Nifty. Now, we have spoken about Nirav's take on the way he wants to employ options on the markets, but we also have Amit who's short strangle strategy on the Nifty. Before we go across to Amit, I just want to address what a short strangle is. It is one when one sells an out of the money call and an out of the money put in anticipation of decrease in volatility. The strategy becomes profitable when volatility decreases, followed by contraction in option premiums. So with that, Amit, I'm going to hand it over to you with your strategy.
So just a caveat, any short option strategies, please restrict, to all the viewers to keep the stop loss on a strict basis, because it's limited profit and unlimited losses. Right. So having said that, I believe that market is more or less in a sector rotation trend, where I believe till the time 930 is not taken, it will continue to see some volatility on either end. Once 930 is taken, definitely I believe market will make a fresh high, and from there on it will see a strong upside from there on. So between this range, I believe, assuming that India VIX, which I believe will stay muted for coming couple of weeks, I don't see any trigger which will lead to a rise in India VIX index. So that will lead to some kind of a premium eating in the coming few weeks. So taking advantage of that, I believe one can sell 10,900 call option and 10,600 put option, where the premiums totally add around 110 odd. One can keep a stop loss at 150 total points. If it crosses 150, definitely one should exit this strategy. Right. And within this 1 to 2 weeks, I believe the premiums can shrink to 70, 80 collectively, but that's where one can start looking to book profits.
Okay. So you're playing for a range, basically. Okay,
right.
That's the option strategy coming in from Amit, who's playing for a range between 10,600 to about 10,900 on Nifty. That's about the index futures, but let's also get you some strategies going on some stock futures. Amit, I'll come back to you. You're still playing safe with IT and FMCG.
Yes, very much. So even if you see, interestingly, the rollovers this time has been completely biased towards IT and FMCG. We have seen strong rollovers in both these spaces. And even if when market, we witnessed the correction from a small correction from 930 to almost 400 odd points, 500 odd points, we saw that these stocks also witnessed some kind of a profit booking. But whenever there is a pullback, these are the spaces where the first buying interest will always align. So this is where the strength is seen in both these spaces. So definitely IT and FMCG is the most comfortable sector right now, where one can stay invested and play within this space, which can be a profitable trades on the positive side.
All right, Nirav, how about you? What stocks are you playing at this point in time?
Yeah. The first one is a sell on Yes Bank. If you see, this stock has been considerably, witnessing a lot of selling pressure around 345, 344 odd levels. Whenever it comes up, it witnesses a lot of selling pressure. I believe this stock can come down towards 320, 310 levels in this month. One can go short at current levels with a stop loss of 346 and a possible target of 320. The second one is a buy call on ITC. ITC has been in a super consolidation. Every time it comes down towards 268, 265, witnesses good amount of support buying, and again comes up towards 285, 290. So I believe this stock, once breaks about 290, will witness a lot of buying coming in, and can go up towards the 350 odd levels in the medium term. One can buy for trading with a target of about 280 and a stop loss of 265.
Amit, you were talking about the theme of FMCG as well as IT, where rollovers have been good. So you're betting on Dabur and Tata Elxsi, which has touched its fresh highs today?
Right. So if you look at Tata Elxsi, the stock has been very strong throughout the last couple of 3 to 4 months, and it has now given a fresh high, touched the fresh high of 1273 today. I believe the stock has made a very good rectangle formation at the higher end, where it traded in the range of 1250 to 1150 odd. 3-4 times tested 1140, 1150 odd and reversed from there sharply. That becomes a very strong support for the overall stock. Positionally, I believe the stock has potential to head towards 1550 odd on the higher side if someone who's looking for a long 3 to 4 months time frame. However, in the shorter term, I believe one can keep a stop loss at 1235.
Right.
Any dip towards 1250 will be a buying opportunity, and on the upside, one can expect a short-term target of 1320, 1350. My another bet is on Dabur. The stock has seen a very good rise in the open interest following a good rollovers. Seen a rise in open interest by around 12% since the inception of the series. It has consolidated in a band of 395 to 375 over the last couple of weeks.
Right.
And I believe the more it sustains above 380, the strength will start building. And once it crosses 395, the stock can head towards 410 levels on the higher side. So can keep a stop loss at 381 for a target of 405.
All right, those are some of those, one from the FMCG space and the other one is from the IT space. Of course, Tata LC has been buzzing off late and we have been seeing a lot of strength. But with that, let's take stock of some active stock futures. And we have already addressed Tata LC with Amit, so I'm not going to take that one up. But I am going to take up something like an NIT Technologies, which continues to advance up as much as 2.5%. It's almost every day I'll end up discussing this stock because of the surge in open interest. I'm going to take it up anyway. Nirav, how are you viewing trade on NIT Technologies? There's no letting up here, no signs of fatigue at all. It continues to advance even as, open interest continues to surge here. What's going on with this one?
See, every time it falls towards 1050 odd levels, you are seeing a lot of open interest built up in the stock, and the stock, makes a move towards 1120, 1125. But that is where you are again seeing selling, and again you'll see an open interest built up on the short side. So it's very difficult to predict NIT Tech at this moment. I'll be, much happier if it breaks out above 1130 odd levels. That way I can say the stock is going to move up, further. At this moment, it's in a consolidation. And that is why I will not be trading on this stock. I'll only be waiting for a breakout or a breakdown below 1050.
Okay, in fact, majority or maximum open interest addition so far has been seen for NIT Tech as well as Tata LXE when you look at the stock futures. Let's get going and address some, viewer queries that we are getting. And we've got a caller named Mr. P.S. Krishnan, who's calling us from Chennai. Hi, Mr. Krishnan. Good morning to you, and thanks a lot for calling us once again on Bloomberg Quint. Tell us what's your query on.
Thank you very much. Thanks for taking my call. My query is around 3 specific stocks. I'm looking to buy July futures of Infratel, NMDC, and Castrol. So I just wanted to get a view from the experts in terms of whether it's worth buying at these levels, and if so, what could be the target price one should look at?
Sure. You want to take a position on the long side, right, for all 3 of them?
Yes, all 3 of them.
Okay. Amit, I'll come to you. So he wants to take a long position for July futures for stocks like Bharti Infratel, NMDC, Castrol. Is anything looking good on the charts where he can initiate a position? If yes, he also wants to know what should be the target price.
In fact, I would say that all 3 are avoid at these levels. Castrol and the first counter was
Bharti Infratel.
So these 2 counters, in fact, are in a downwards consolidation phase. So I would not trade on any of these 3 unless and until he is a value picker or someone who is buying in the cash market segment and holding for a longer duration of time. But for a speculative or a F&O trade, definitely these 3 are not enterable at these levels. One can wait for a confirmation, and that confirmation is too far to discuss at this point of time.
Okay, well, there you have it. That's the view coming in on some of those stocks that have been discussed. But, I reckon, and I'm not surprised that we have one more query on NIT Technologies. On Facebook, we have Shravan Kumar, and he said he's shorted NIT Technologies June futures at 1021. And, his question is, what should he do? Should he book now or hold for more time? Let's take a look at these futures and see where they're trading at, around 1113. Okay, we've already discussed this with Nirav, so I'm going to take your view on this one. Amit, what would you do with this one?
See, it's always, the gamble is always deeper when you are against the trend, and definitely this position is against the trend.
Right.
till the time it doesn't break 10,090, I don't see any kind of weakness in this counter. In fact, it is preparing itself for a fresh round of up move and to touch the all-time high of around 1180, 1190, what it had made.
Right.
So I would urge to keep a strict stop loss, maybe of 1130. That's where the fresh breakout is seen.
Right.
If it breaks out those levels, he definitely needs to exit the trade.
So he is trailing. I mean, he's sitting at a potential loss right now. He went short on around 1121, and it's currently at around 1113. You suggest that he continue to keep his position right now, but eventually.
In fact, I would suggest to reverse his trade.
Okay, so book
the loss and go long on this.
He's going against the trend.
He's going against the trend.
All right, there you have it. That's what you can do, Shravan. You can keep an eye on that one.
Okay,
yep.
Shah, that's the view on NIIT Tech Stock. We've been discussing almost every day on the F&O show. But I guess we've got a lot of viewers from Chennai. Our next caller is also from Chennai. We've got Tirumulai Vinjamur Sriram who calls us. Hi Tirumulai, I hope I got your name correct.
Tell us. You can call me Sriram.
All right, Sriram. Okay, I'll call you Sriram. Tell us what's your query on.
Yeah, I just want to understand the buying the jeweler futures of ITC and DLF. What is the current thing happening in the stock? Is it good to buy, or do we expect the stock to go further down?
Okay, so ITC, I think Nirav had given a buy call, but that was for June futures where he had a target of 280 and stop loss of 265. But since you want to take a position for July futures, I'll take the query to him. Nirav, would you advise Sriram to go long on ITC July futures? And his second query is on DLF.
Yeah, definitely. ITC, I definitely recommend to buy. He can also, hold on for July. He can roll over for July. I'm seeing ITC come up towards at least 300, 320 odd levels. So one can hold longs in this counter. 265 is a very good support for this counter. Every time it comes down, it witnesses support buying, coming in and bounces thereon. For DLF, DLF is in a downtrend. It is making a lower top, lower bottom formation, so buying at current levels is not advisable. One should only stick to ITC on the long side.
All right. With that, I'm going to ask our experts whether or not they have spotted something interesting over the last 15-20 odd minutes that can be traded. So, Nirav, if I can come back to you on this one, are you witnessing anything interesting that can be looked into in this point in time?
Yeah. See, witnessed a lot of buying in the pharma sector in the first 1 hour of trade. In the pharma sector, Dr. Reddy has shown a tremendous move above its breakout of 2100 odd levels. So, if a close for today comes up about 2100 levels, it can go up towards 2400 odd levels. So, this is the stock to watch out for. To trade right now, I will not be trading right now, probably around 315, 320. I'll be going long in this stock. The stop loss for the same will be around 2100.
Okay, I'm happy, Nirav, you discussed the pharma space. The Nifty Pharma Index, I guess, is up for the 5th straight session today, so good going. In fact, 4 out of 5 top gainers on Nifty today are pharma stocks like Lupin, Dr. Reddy, Cipla, as well as Sun Pharma. Amit, what about you? Is there anything interesting that's popping up on your screen right now?
So if you look at the NBFC space, that's where I believe some kind of activity is happening, development is happening on the open interest and the volume space. Chola Finance, Shriram Transport, M&M Finance, Bajaj Finserv. So all these counters are seeing good kind of attraction in terms of buying interest where I'm seeing it. So Chola Finance and Bajaj Finserv can be a good pick for someone who is looking for a 2 to 3 days time frame. Chola Finance, the stock is trading at 1594 odd, can take a quick bet with a stop loss at 1570 and look for an immediate target towards 1625, 1630 levels.
Right.
So I'm seeing a good traction happening in the NBFC space. That's where one can place for a short-term momentum.
All right, momentum in the NBFC space. Watch out for some of these stocks discussed. But we've run out of time on this show, so we're going to thank both our experts, Amit and Nirav, for joining us and taking us through their views as well as solving some of your queries. And with that, it's a wrap on this edition of the F&O Show. But lots more lined up, so stay tuned in the Bloomberg Quint.